Okay.
Is it good?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so this torso here, we can see some facial muscles. We can see a lot of anterior muscles. And on this side, you can see the pectoralis major has been removed, so we can see some of the deep muscles and also the abdominal muscles. Let's start with the face. So here, we are starting with the frontalis, and the frontalis goes all the way back. And over here, you can see the occipitalis, and that is actually one single muscle, but it's connected by a fascia in between. This is called the aponeurosis. Over here, this is called the temporalis muscle. That's the temporalis. And in the front, you can see a circular muscle around the eye. That's the orbicularis oculi. Same circular muscle you can see around the mouth, which is the kissing muscle, and that's the orbicularis oris. Orbicularis oris, orbicularis oculi. Over here, you can see a muscle. This muscle elevates the lip. So this muscle here is called the levator labii superioris. And over here, you can see this muscle lowers the lower lip, and that's the depressor labii inferioris. There is a muscle over here which goes into the neck, that is a platysma, that is a grinning muscle. This is the muscle which attaches to the zygoma. It pulls the angle of the mouth out. This is called the zygomaticus major. An important muscle here is the masseter muscle. This is the muscle, when you clench your jaws, you feel that muscle bulging. Okay, so that is the masseter muscle. And in front of the masseter muscle, you have the buccinator muscle. That is in this depression here. This is the buccinator. This is the muscle of the cheek. So when you blow your cheek like this, what you feel is a buccinator. Okay, so that's the buccinator. That's a masseter. And there's a muscle which pulls the angle of the mouth back. This is called the rhizorius. So the rhizorius goes back, the masseter goes down. In front of the masseter in that depression is the buccinator. Okay, so that covers the head. Let's go into the neck. In the neck, this muscle here is very important. This is the sternocleidomastoid. Okay, SCM, sternocleidomastoid. That's the muscle. When you turn your neck, you see this little bulge here. That is the sternocleidomastoid. You can feel it. Okay. That's the muscle which flexes your neck. Okay. So that's the sternocleidomastoid. And then at the back here, you can see this big muscle here, which is actually going from here, not this one here, this one here. This is called the deltoid. It's a big muscle, but on this side it is cut, but here you can see the fibers. So this is the deltoid. Oh, sorry, this is the trapezius. This is a trapezius. This muscle here over the shoulder is the deltoid. It's a triangular muscle. And in front of the deltoid, you can see a muscle. This is called the levator scapula. And that elevates the scapula, the shoulder blade. Okay. As you go down into the chest, you see the big muscle, which is the pectoralis major, the pec major. That's the pec major. And on this side, the pec major has been removed. So you can see a muscle underneath, that is the pec minor, pectoralis minor. Okay. So this is a minor, pectoralis minor. On top of that is the pectoralis major. Over here, you can see some muscles here. This is called the serratus anterior. So serratus anterior, pectoralis minor, pectoralis major on top of it. Okay. Coming to the back here, this is the spine of the scapula, and the tip of that is the acromion process, and this, the area above the spine is called the supraspinous fossa, and the muscle here is the supraspinatus, one of the sits muscle. And below it, you have this muscle here, which is called the infraspinatus, and that's this one here. This is the infraspinatus and the sits muscle. And then you have this muscle here. These two muscles are called the teres muscle. This is the teres major. This is the teres minor. That was the T that I forgot. Yeah. So teres, and it is the teres minor, which is a sits muscle. Okay. So teres minor, teres major. Okay. Supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, teres major, and in the back, they have removed most of the back muscles, so you don't see. You can see the latissimus dorsi. This is the latissimus dorsi, the big muscle in the back. That's called the lats. And you know, when you go for the bodybuilding competitions, they'll ask you to show each muscle. So you have to show each muscle, and if you're able to demonstrate it, you win the tournament. So that's a bodybuilding tournament, right? So all these muscles will become, the lats is one of the important ones. Okay, and then coming to the anterior part of the abdomen, you have this muscle here in the middle. So it's like a strip of muscle, but is divided into segments. This is what we call the six-pack or the rectus abdominis. Okay, so this is the rectus. Then on the side, there is a muscle which is coming like this. Like if you put your hand into your pocket, okay, this is into your pant pocket, goes like this. And this muscle here going in this direction is the external oblique muscle. So that's the external oblique, you can see that. And under the external oblique, you can see there's the internal oblique. And under the internal oblique, there is the transverse abdominal muscle. So this is the transverse abdominal muscle, which is right across, and that's the muscle you hold, and you're going to take a picture. So that's the transverse abdominal muscle. Okay, the internal oblique you don't see. You can see it if you open this and look inside. Probably you can see it, but we won't be using that in the exam. So over here you have the gluteus maximus, and inside you have the gluteus medius. We'll talk about that later when we are in the lower limb. What else? I think that's about it. I didn't touch any of the back muscle, which I can show you there. Can we move over there?